Hey everyone, hopefully you're having a great day. I am Megan Purnell and I'm stoked to bring to you this amazing article on retiring, and I want to go through it with you and explain to you what it means to you and what you can take away from it and what you can learn from it that's going to make you have a more accurate and better retirement. And I know that all of you want to retire, but when I ask the question, how much do you need to retire? Most people have no idea. So that's what I really like about this article. I found it on Moneysense.ca, which does happen to be a Canadian money blogging website, but it is international information. Calculating retirement is the same. You have interest and the money that you put in and the money that you take out. So we're going to apply this internationally today, even though it's a Canadian article. What I love about this article is that it makes you think about retirement, and it gives you actual numbers to kind of play with. So it not only talks about how much you need as a single person, but also as a couple. It talks about various different lifestyles that you want to achieve. So if you're talking about just getting by and retiring, like tomorrow, or if you really want to have a luxurious retirement and be able to travel internationally and take your kids with you, then you're going to want to go to the deluxe side of things. And then also it talks about retiring at 60, 63, 65, and 67, only because those are the most popular ages. Anything before age 60 just means you're going to have to save a little bit more. I also like that it explains the details down here. So if you want to go into the details, go to the bottom. It tells you how they calculate the numbers, what some of the assumptions are, and it also has a few things missing. I couldn't find what amount of interest they assume in retirement that you're going to be making. And that's kind of a key number that you need to know, what goal interest you need to make with your advisor. So that's lacking. There's something else missing, but you can kind of go in here and take a look. It also assumes a few things: that you have no debt on your vehicles, on your house, and that you have some sort of basic government assistance. So they're assuming $15,000 a person of basic government assistance. So it depends on where you live and what you have going on with your government as to what number you're going to use here. They're going to assume 15. So that's a pretty safe number. If you don't have any assistance from your government, or you don't want to assume any assistance, because realistically, we don't know if that's going to be there in 30 years, then you're going to have to do a different calculation and assume nothing. And I mean, ideally, that's how I calculate all of my retirement savings, because if I make more than that, then I just get bumped up to a higher lifestyle of living, right? But if that disappears, then I'm bumped down to a lower lifestyle of living. So in my opinion, always try to bump yourself up and plan for the worst if possible. And if you have, a bigger family and more kids to take care of, you're going to want a little bit more put away. But if it's just you and your spouse or your partner, then you won't have to put away as much money, because you won't have any, dependents or as many gifts, and maybe you just want to do more travel. So things to think about when you're planning your retirement. So I'll show you here how they calculate it. They use the 25 times multiplier, which is your desired income pre-taxes. So we're not talking about net income here. We're talking about gross, which has taxes still attached to it. If you want to be upper middle class, they're assuming $70,000 would do it for you, minus whatever government assistance you're getting, and then times it by 25, which brings you to $1 million at age 65. And the 25 times multiplier is assumed for age 25. Oh, the second thing missing that I couldn't find in the assumptions was what age that lasts you until. So we call it our expiry age. I couldn't figure out when they plan on the $1 million running out. So another thing that you're going to want to take into account, and that is really awesome to have learned from this article alone. I went to my advisor, which is where I definitely tell people to start. Go to your advisor, go see if they have some sort of really cool calculator or some information where they can plug in some information and get you some answers so you can start retiring now, because it's so much easier to start saving now than it is to save in your 40s or 50s for retirement. If you can start in your 20s, start in your 20s. So we went to our advisor, and I was scared to ask, but I said, man, I need to know, how far off are we from our retirement goals? I'm sure we need to be putting more aside, but I'm just dying to know, what do we need to retire and how far off are we? And he's like, oh, I just got this really cool calculator. Let's plug it in and play with it and see what we can come up with. And by the time we were done, the number or the age that we were going to retire was 63 if we changed nothing between now and then. And both my husband and I looked at each other and we had like this big sigh of relief because we're like, wow, we're actually on track to retire one day. Like, that's amazing. It was such a good feeling that it's one of the reasons I have this passion about other people starting to retire or think about retirement sooner than later. And I'm going to show you that calculator if you'd like to see it. This is the calculator that I get to play with all the time. I'm going to show you how it works out and why this article isn't my ideal situation for people to take their number from. So let's assume this upper middle class, $70,000 minus the 30. So we want to have a lifestyle of $40,000 a year that we make on top of our government pension or security. So I put in here $40,000 a year. I did an average inflation of 2% because that's pretty accurate. And I put our expiry age at 90. So we assume that we're going to pass away right around 90. If we pass away sooner, we're just going to leave some money for our kids. And retirement age was 65, so that's on par. And then don't worry about current age. So it's telling us we're going to have just under $6,000 a month before taxes. So we will have a pretty solid amount, probably around, $4,000 or $5,000 in that range to play with each month. And in, 30 years, $40,000 is going to be the new $71,500. So you're going to actually need $70,000 in retirement when we actually go to retire because of inflation. And if you don't know about inflation, that's just the amount that everything increases in price over the year. So you know how groceries get more expensive and homes get more expensive and cars and maintenance and everything, clothing, it all becomes more expensive over time, but our dollars kind of stay the same. So to live a $40,000 lifestyle now is going to be $71,000 then. That's what it means. Hopefully that helps you. And what I get to take away from this is it tells me that we needed $1 million. And I put in 5% assumed interest in retirement, which for most people should be achievable, but you might want to go in with 2%. Maybe you want to put your money in a really safe spot and you don't want to have any volatility or, risk in your life. So you can do the calculation with 2%. I've assumed 5% in this situation, and it tells me that we need 1.254 million. So 1 million is actually $1.25 million. You'd be off by $250,000 in this case. So that's what I mean by this is a fantastic article to start from, but if you want to actually come away with what your number needs to be with all of your variables in your life, you need to go see your advisor or someone in your life. If you have nobody who can help you and you want me to do it for you, you're more than welcome to reach out. You can go to meganpurnell.com, or you can jump on Facebook and find me in Money Savvy Mastermind, which is an awesome group, and we talk about all these things every day. So I have no biases. I don't work for anyone. I don't, take any other information into account except for your numbers. So that's a great way to do it if you're feeling lost about your retirement, and you can start at any age to do this. So hopefully that helps. Hopefully you see how these articles can be broken down and better used to your advantage. And hopefully I'll do a few more of these. We'll look at some of the most popular viral articles on the internet today, and we'll break them down into language that you can understand. All right, so hopefully we see you in Money Savvy Mastermind. If not, I'll see you on the YouTube page. Bye for now.